Before we start the review, I want to give a huge congratulations to all involved in the Corridors of Time puzzle. Solving it was a monumental community effort, and everyone involved should be very proud of the work they've done. I tried to help where I could, but the spreadsheets and code breaking involved was a little above my pay grade. This type of community-focused content is what we love about Destiny, and is a testament to the dev team and the community as a whole. Thank you to Bungie, this is exactly the kind of thing we needed. Bastion, the new kinetic fusion rifle. That's right, you heard me. Kinetic fusion rifle fires high-powered shotgun-like slugs in a flower-like pattern in a 3-round burst. It comes with the unique perk Saint's Fists and Breakthrough. It's sleek, it's stylish, elegant, and themed perfectly with this season's content. In this video, we'll get into how to acquire the weapon and its versatility in the game. Strap in, folks, this is going to be a bit of a long one. Remember, if you like what you see here and want to see more, a like really helps the channel, and don't be afraid to comment down below with your thoughts on the weapon or the game in general. And if you want to see more Destiny content, I stream every Tuesday through Saturday on Twitch, where we do a lot of high-level Destiny content, spin foil hat theories, and all-around fun with friends. Starting with the intrinsic perk, Saint's Fists. Charge up to 3 spreads of kinetic slugs. They fire in a flower-like pattern. In the first column, we've got Hammer Forged Rifling, which increases your range of the weapon, although you're not going to feel much. In the second column, Liquid Coils, slower building charge for higher damage, increased damage, slower charge time. In the third column is the unique perk Breakthrough. A portion of this weapon's damage bypasses elemental shields. Basically what that means is some of the damage will hit the enemy directly, ignoring their shields completely. In the fourth column, we've got Composite Stock, which is increased stability and handling speed, although, like I said, you're not going to feel much on that one. The stats on the weapon are as follows: Impact 80, Range 33, Handling 34, Stability 52, Reload speed 32, it has a charge time of 780, and it's got 4 in the magazine. So, how do you get the weapon? Well, there are 2 ways of going about it. You can run the 30-digit sequence in the Corridors of Time, or you can pick up the quest from Saint 14, as solving the puzzle early, Bungie unlocked the quest for everyone. If you choose the 30 sequence code, go see Osiris and pick up the mission, Explore the Corridors of Time. Doing so will also give you access to the lore associated with this season's lore book. There are 19 pages in total with their own code, and 1 code sequence will give you the access to the emblem, meaning there are 21 codes for all known content inside the Corridors of Time. All of these code patterns can be found online. Once you have the first item from the quest, called the Chronometric Weapon Core, head back to the tower and talk to Saint 14. Note you may have to talk to Saint 14 twice in order to get the next piece of the quest. Lamento is the name of the next portion of the quest, and it requires you to travel to the Tangled Shore and defeat fallen captains to gain fallen intel. The quickest way I found was to go to the start area of the Hollowed Lair Strike and kill the first captain you see, then return to the fast travel point, go back and eliminate that same captain. Sometimes you will get lucky and run into a captain or a servitor on the way. Kill them as well, as they are a bonus shot at fallen intel. Boss Connection is the next step, and it requires you to bring the intel you've collected to the Spider. He'll give you a quest step called Backroom Brawl, which requires you to go to the Lost Sector, the Empty Tank. Follow the path shown here and fight your way to the end of the Lost Sector, where you'll find a fallen captain named Atkins? Axinks? That name's a fucking nightmare, buddy. So once you kill Askiss, he'll drop you Raisk's last word, and you'll meet with Spider again, where he will give you another quest called A Strong Arm. This step is a bit of a pain in the ass, but can be done quickly if you plan accordingly. You'll need about 10 spider bounties, 30 challenging enemies, and 8 public events. Spider bounties take the longest if you don't have ghost fragments. If you don't, you'll need 20 ghost fragments for all the bounties you need. Do public events to get the ghost fragments. During the public events, you should be killing challenging enemies. I did about 2 heroic events and that section of the quest was already completed for me. Once you have enough to obtain all the bounties, select the easiest bounties from the top row from Spider, travel the system, and eliminate those hiding in lost sectors. Happy hunting, this will take a bit of time. The next step will ask you to visit a grave in the Lost Sector Trapper's Cave in the top right section of the Tangled Shore called Four-Horned Gulch. Just follow this path and it will lead you to a waterfall. Kill all Cabal in the area as the Red War sucked and we deserve a little bit of payback. The grave is here to the right of the waterfall. Quest step, Altered Chief, will drop and you will be asked to kill a newly raised Scorn Chieftain at the end of a Lamento version of the Hollowed Lair Strike in the boss room. He spawns on the right side of the map after the first wave of ads. His name is Defiled Raisk. Poo on him. Once he's dead, he will drop the final step of the quest, which is to return to Saint 14, where he will award you with your new weapon and some cool dialogue. So what are the first impressions when you get this gun? Well, first, let's start by saying I feel bad for these Fallen on the EDZ. Every time I load into this area of the map, I see Fallen getting decimated by overpowered Guardians testing their shiny new weapon on them. Let's face it, they got the shit end of the stick. Anyways, this gun hits hard, really hard. If you shove this thing in the face of any low-level enemy, it's going to die. There's no way around it. This gun punishes everything. It's a 3-round burst and the first round is going to eliminate pretty much any low-level red bar enemies, so it's a bit like taking a bazooka to a housefly. On the opposite end of the spectrum, larger, higher tier enemies like strike bosses and raid bosses doesn't chunk a lot of damage out of them. If you're trying to burn through content, I don't see this as something that's going to destroy a boss unless the entire team is using it. Even if that is the case, I don't see it melting raid bosses. The damage just isn't there, and the main reason is because this weapon doesn't do crit damage, not without a debuff like Melting Point. Where this gun really excels in PvE is the mid to higher tier world bosses and public events. You get up close to some of these yellow bar enemies and hit them with all 3 bursts, their health and shields are going to get absolutely demolished. 2 bursts that enemy and it is either dead or close enough to death that you can probably fart on him and it's gonna go down. So what does that mean for your options? Well, if you're using this gun correctly, that means you're using it as a secondary weapon in strikes and world events to take out mid-tier enemies. Wizards, knights, captain, minotaurs, just like you would any high-impact energy weapon. The most unique thing about this gun is how it forces players to change their style. I personally am a bit old school D1 when I play. That means hand cannons in primary slot, fusions or sniper rifle in secondary slot, and a heavy machine gun or a rocket launcher, preferably exotic, in my heavy slot. But this gun makes you change things up. I found myself running an auto rifle in my energy slot or a hand cannon like the Kindled Orchid. In Crucible, I was more inclined to run a hand cannon like Trust or Pulse Rifle. This gun does exactly what Bungie is trying to do for its player base: introduce change to your playstyle and give you more options to rip through your enemies. Speaking of PvP, how does it do in the Crucible? Well, if you can get close enough to your opponent, this thing will destroy just about anyone in your way. I've seen one slug to the face destroy an enemy combatant, and I've seen it do insane damage to anyone running a super. The biggest drawback to this weapon is the range and the charge time. Unless you catch someone by surprise, you're not going to get those unbelievable plays with it. In my experience, by the time you get close enough to someone to use the weapon, the time to kill of shotguns and range of hand cannons and other more viable fusion rifles like Arantel will currently outshoot the Bastion. But if you can get used to the pre-firing and the range, this is a nasty gun to contend with. It's surprising how much damage it will do to another player, but as stated, that range and charge time really do a number to find excuses to use it in the Crucible. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't think this is going to change the meta for fusion rifles in the Crucible anytime soon. So that's the gun, how to get it, and what I think of it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. That really helps the channel. If you like what you see here and want to hang out with more Destiny community members, I stream every Tuesday through Saturday on Twitch. Feel free to come hang out. We have lots of fun there. If you'd like to hear the dialogue at the end of the Corridors of Time, I will let the video play out. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.